Welcome, it's Denome. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin and altcoin markets. And it's been a while since I made my last video, so there's a lot of things to cover. But overall, we saw some very good news over the weekend and the start of the week. So let's actually talk about those first. So the big news that we got, of course, is you probably already heard about it. I'm a couple of days late, but anyway, China has two funds, the Harvest Fund and the Southern Fund, which are now applied for Bitcoin ETFs. So when we take a look at these, you can see that the Harvest Fund actually manages over $230 billion of assets, and Southern Fund oversees $280 billion in assets. So if they can get the ETF approved in Hong Kong, obviously that will be very, very bullish, because right now it's not easy to actually get Bitcoin in China. And if this is approved in Hong Kong, that means that people and companies in China can also buy Bitcoin through the ETF legally. So this is going to be a huge deal for people who want exposure to Bitcoin. And you probably already know about this, but there's a lot of VPNs in China, and a lot of the development of crypto is also happening in China, even though it is illegal. So many people are actually still in crypto, even though there's the ban on crypto in China. So it's a little bit weird, and the regulations always keep shifting back and forth. But obviously, a lot of people, even though you may find legal loopholes to actually do crypto in China, the ETF will just bring the regulatory certainty to Chinese market as well. So obviously this is going to be a huge deal if this is going to be approved. And as you can see, the ETFs could potentially launch as early as Q2 of this year. So basically it could be approved any day now, because this is already Q2. So from April to the end of June is Q2. So maybe we will see it, maybe we don't. Obviously, we have no idea what China decides to do. But obviously, these are one of the biggest funds in the market, so they probably have some information. They wouldn't just apply for this if they didn't at least lay the groundwork for it to be approved. And the next thing, obviously, is that we have more news about the Ethereum ETFs. So now we have the usual suspects. We have BlackRock, Fidelity, Van Eck, and they have applied for ETF, and the SEC has until late May to conclude its review. So if both of these are approved by basically during May or June, this is obviously going to be quite bullish for crypto until the end of the year. So this is going to be the main event, even though we still have another bullish thing, which is of course the halving. So we right now have less than 10 days until the Bitcoin halving, and after that the issuance of Bitcoin, the inflation rate of Bitcoin will drop by 50% to the downside. So obviously this will create a supply shock, because it means that less new Bitcoin are minted to the market. So this is going to be an interesting event to look at as well. And mostly BlackRock, whenever they apply for ETFs, there was a lot of FUD. Will they be approved? Will they not be approved? But BlackRock has their hands on the government, on the SEC, on all of these regulatory bodies. So if they are applying for the ETF for Ethereum, obviously they are going to try to bend the laws in their favor. And because the Bitcoin was such a successful ETF, they obviously want to do the same with Ethereum. So this is going to be very interesting times with these developments. But when we actually take a look at how the Bitcoin ETFs are being adopted, if we take a look at the last month, unfortunately, we do not see new growth in the ETF market or in the funds. So if anything, we see a small downtrend on the accumulation of Bitcoin. And this has updated, or the last time this was updated was in April 8th. So we didn't see a massive pump on Monday, unfortunately, which I was expecting because of the Hong Kong announcement or the speculation, which obviously caused the price of Bitcoin to pump here. But when we just take a look at the chart here, Obviously we have this long-term support line here, which is going to help us, and in the short term we have this trend line over here to here, which is supporting the price increase again. So if we drop below this, I will suspect we might drop all the way to 56,000, but until then I am going to bet that this line will hold. So obviously what we need to do is break through the all-time high here to make new grounds again. But for now we are looking at a probably even a lower low, a higher low here, and a bounce from this trend line. And the reason is, when we take a look at the volume, the trading volume has actually been declining, as well as the RSI. When we take a look at the RSI, which is the momentum indicator, when we had this new high here, the RSI failed to make a new high, which kind of signifies to me that it was a fake out. So we will have time to go lower. So maybe this will hold at this line here, but if it breaks, then I would expect we go sideways for quite a while, and that could be good for altcoins. But overall, in the chart alone, it's not looking absolutely amazing, even though we have this fundamentally great things happening in crypto. And even when we take a look at the RSI on the 4-hour time frame, is basically the same story. That well, we can kind of make a line like this, that we did break out through this trend line here, but unfortunately the RSI did not make a new high on this peak here. So it kind of signifies that we are heading lower, which we already have gone. So that's fair. So overall, when we take a look at the charts here, overall I do believe this is still quite irrelevant in the big picture, because we are seeing Bitcoin being adopted both in the West and in the East as well, in China, in Asia, in the West, through the ETF systems. So whenever that is happening, we see wars, we see untrust, we see tensions rise all over the planet, but people still want Bitcoin. This is a good signal that finally we are going into a new paradigm where Bitcoin is actually starting to look like it's gonna be a currency that everybody can agree on. Because well, US dollar has had its significance, it has had its time in the sun, so to say, and people are now distrusting USD because of all the sanctions that went against Russia, which are not going against Israel, even though you might disagree or agree with whatever is happening in those countries. But what has happened is that it's harder for countries which are not Western countries to actually believe in USD if your account can just be frozen, like what happened with Russia. And that's why we see a shift away from dollar-based world trade to something else. So we see world trade increasing in yuan, and obviously when we see Bitcoin rising, maybe that can be something we actually agree on. We are also seeing gold rise, so that's an interesting development there as well, but just focusing on Bitcoin for now. So overall, I'm quite bullish going forward. I'm not making any huge moves personally. What I'm expecting is when this all-time high actually does break, doesn't matter if we go it immediately or if we go like, okay, we go like this and then we actually break through it, and maybe we go touch here and then we break through it. It could go like this, or we just break through before the halving here, and after that, basically the next level that I'm looking at is basically $90,000. And after $90,000, I will take quite a bit of my money out of the market, just because I want to hedge against the downside. But I don't want to take profits out here, because when Bitcoin ETF was launched, the price was about $40,000. We were here, and this is when we saw the absolute accumulation of Bitcoin from these institutions, from all these different players. So I don't believe 40K is ever gonna be broken again. I think that's gonna be the hard floor, no matter whatever is the Black Swan event. I'm currently not seeing $40,000 Bitcoin being broken again. So that's why I want to sell here, because we're just at 70K. So even if price drops to 50K or whatever, the upside is basically limitless because of all the money printing. So as long as you have patience, you're still winning if you're getting Bitcoin at these prices. But the downside, I'm not seeing a lot of downside, to be honest. That's why I'm still quite heavily invested in Bitcoin and crypto. Bitcoin is currently basically my stable coin as of now, for these reasons of all these different developments of ETF, institutional adoption, and all of these things. So overall, I'm quite bullish, even though in the short term we are seeing not the most amazing not the most amazing things in the RSI here. But anyway, that's basically my update on Bitcoin. When we go and take a look at sentiment, not really seeing anything interesting here. I guess the most interesting part is obviously that we are seeing more Bitcoin taken out of exchanges, which means that whenever the price moves, there's less Bitcoin that can be purchased from the exchanges, which means that the price is going to have more volatility whenever it actually breaks. That's why I'm looking at the 90K level next as well. So that's basically the most important thing. The funding rate's not really giving me anything interesting here. Stablecoin developments, I think it's interesting for USDT. So as you can see, USDT is just keep printing and printing and printing. So we're going linearly upwards on USDT. So USDT is just growing. I don't know why USDC has actually stopped minting. This is not obviously great, but overall the market cap of stablecoins is still rising, which means that people want to have money in crypto. Overall, nothing else interesting here. Still the same here with the amount of Bitcoin holders. Not really going up, not really going down. It was on April 4, we saw the amount of holders 52 million and 550,000, and now it's it was on March 28th, it was 0.57 and now it's 0.55. So a little bit less Bitcoin holders. So obviously somebody has to sell for somebody to buy it. So that's basically all that there is to Bitcoin. Just cruising through the halving basically. And for altcoins, we're not really seeing anything great on altcoins, to be honest. So when we take a look at the altcoins, let's take the 90-day here, and let's take my favorites, because these are the most interesting ones to me. From the last 7 days, obviously Bitcoin is very good. It has had the highest gains. Where is Bitcoin? Actually, it hasn't had the highest gains in 7 days. In 90 days it has. It's one of the best performing coins. So altcoin still lagging behind, unfortunately. I don't know when that will change, if it will change during this bull run, because this bull run is mainly driven by the institutional adoption, not so much from the retail adoption, at least as of now. So anyway, that's just something interesting to keep in mind. And the same strategy that I showed you before from my last video until now, when we take a look at the Mendi token, I think it's on the second page. So let me change this to 100 coins. So Mendi, the price actually went all the way to 0.69, I think was the top here. 0.61, not 69. I think I saw it at 69, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe I saw it wrong. That's because this chart on Livecoin Watch started from 6th of April. I think the price peaked at $0.69. This chart is just a little bit too new for us. Anyway, that's pretty cool because the price was 0.18 when I talked about it. So if you made gains on this, that's very cool. I'm currently not buying the dip yet. I'm waiting for a significant pullback, and this is not significant enough for me to actually invest more into Mendi. So I've sold half of my Mendi as of now. So if we go to 0.3, that's when I will be buying more Mendi. But overall, I'm still bullish. I still have half of my Mendi. So let's see where that goes. I saw Linea market cap went upwards, or the Linea, what was it? Total value locked went upwards. Let's actually take a look at it. DeFi Llama. And this is just an update on the last video that I made. So Linea, when we take a look at the total value locked, we saw this increasing quite a bit lately, but we have a new kid in town, which is the Zero Land. So Mendi Finance has total value locked of $107 million now. It was about $50 million when I made the video. But right now, Zero Land is going higher than Mendi, which I think is quite interesting. Zero Land does not have a token yet, so I did actually put a little bit money here in hopes of getting the airdrop. You can earn the airdrop points with Zero Land, and I think the APY right now was 30% APY for Ethereum if you just supply Ethereum and borrow against it. So I did that for myself. So I'm expecting quite a big airdrop from this. So that's where I put a lot of my, or some of my Ethereum as well. But for Mendi, you can see the total value locked hasn't really increased lately. It blew up here, but now it's been just sideways. So no new money for Mendi, unfortunately, which is not exactly great, but it is what it is. And I guess if the money stays on Linea, which it currently has, or after the Zero Land airdrop, maybe people want to diversify where they put their funds, so maybe Mendi will have more money. Could be also that Mendi has already had its run, we don't know. But obviously from 0.18 to 0.69 was already pretty good for the price. So basically that's all I had for the update for now. And I hope you liked the video and consider subscribing, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.